Hi guys, welcome to my channel. Today we're going to be talking all about fear and anxiety and stuff like that. So if you guys are struggling with this area, or you just kind of need some type of motivation, or just like how I deal with it, please keep watching. I actually was asked this question a lot ever since I kind of mentioned it in my old video when I talked about oh my gosh, what's the name of that video? I'll put the link of the video that I'm talking about below right here, so just check it out. It's like a motivational video talking about how things can change and stuff like that. So anyway, ever since I made that video, quite a few people asked me how do I deal with anxiety, especially the fact that I mentioned that I have social anxiety. I don't want to claim that, but I do get social anxiety in social situations. So someone asked me on Snapchat, someone asked me on Instagram, someone asked me in person, someone asked me on YouTube. Actually, 3 people asked me on YouTube, what do I do about that? So I figured, why not just make a video to help you guys? And that's what I'm about to do now. So just keep watching if you want to hear my point of view of this. Thanks. Okay, so the first thing we're going to talk about is, that I'm going to be mentioning is symptoms. So what are some symptoms that you can have if you are displaying signs of anxiety or stress and things like that? Let's go back to the basics. Stress, a healthy amount of stress is actually good for the body. It's something that goes all the way back to nature. Back to what allows humans to be more aware of their surroundings. So you go back and think about this. It goes hand in hand with anxiety. Well, at least this is just my definition. Disclaimer, I am not a doctor. I am not a psychologist. Even though I did graduate from Michigan State University with a degree in psychology with a child specialization. And then I also was pre-med initially. And I did a lot of work at the clinics. So this is just from my experience that I'm telling you guys this, from my personal experience and just from the experience that I've had when I watched other people go through similar things. So anyway, let's go back to anxiety. So anxiety is a little bit more different. The symptoms of that can be anywhere from heart palpitations, having a hard time breathing, racing thoughts, sweating, feeling like you're going to faint, feeling as if you cannot gather your thoughts correctly. It's like you're trying to think of something. It's almost like memory loss in some way. It's so many symptoms, you guys. The list goes on and on. I'll leave a link below, so if you have a feeling that you are dealing with this, then you can check out that link just to kind of give yourself a better perception if this is what you're going through. And what you can do about this, it's a lot of things that you can do. For me, let me give you a little story about my anxiety and what it does for me. And this is really hard for me to even come out on camera and talk about, because for a very long time I used to be really ashamed of me going through this. I was very closed off to telling people about my experience with this. I just felt ashamed of myself that I was going through it, because I felt like, how can someone like me, and what I mean by like me is someone who loves to be around people, who loves to be socially involved with different activities, and who love to talk and help others, how could someone like me, who's basically a social butterfly, be dealing with a situation like this? And I felt ashamed for a long time, and for a whole year I didn't really talk about it and tell no one about it or anything like that. But now I'm okay with expressing my situation, because I feel that it can help someone. And I'm actually okay with going through this, because I feel like maybe one day this is meant for someone else. It's not meant for me, but maybe God knows that I have the strength to overcome this, and that because I have that strength, I can go back and help someone else who is dealing with this. So my story is a little bit like this. Sorry, y'all, I'm gonna do clips because this is getting long. So what my story is I used to always kind of deal with some form of anxiety since I was a kid. I never really let it stop me from doing anything. I noticed it when I was a kid, though. I did notice that I would have a hard time breathing sometimes, or even swallowing. That is another symptom. And this may be some of the reasons why I deal with it, is because we were living in poverty my whole life when I was a child. And not really understanding that whole concept when I was a kid may not have allowed me to fully express my emotions the way that were healthy. But because I was always just trying to be that positive child. So I never really dealt with the emotions in a way that could be, you know, effective or relieve any of the feelings of stress that I did have. So that goes back to, like I said, when I was a kid. I used to always shake my legs in class whenever I would be doing work. I was always the social child in class, a social student always. But I still would always shake my leg, or I would do little things that I didn't know until now that I'm an adult, that were forms or symptoms or, you know, kind of signs that I could be developing some form of anxiety. So as I got older, that was basically all I had. When I was in high school, I used to be very active. I did a lot of things all the time. I was in some type of program. I mean, my day started at 7 a.m. and I did not get home till 7 p.m. every single night. On the weekends, I had 3 programs I did at different colleges, so I was always active. And one day, I just was so overwhelmed in school that I almost passed out. And my counselor said, you know, you need to relieve some of these things because this is very stressful for you, and it's not good to overdo it. So I did relieve a couple of the programs I was doing. I was in 13 programs over the course of 4 years in college, and it was just a lot. So anyway, all that to say that was my first experience with a big symptom of social, or not even social, because I didn't have, or I wasn't dealing with social anxiety, but one of the big experiences that I had with anxiety itself was when I was feeling very overwhelmed in class, and I felt dizzy, and I felt like I was going to pass out. So that was where it started. Then I got to college, and even before college, actually, I've always had a very hard time with taking exams. I was really, you know, smart. I'm not going to toot my own horn, but I was the geek in school, you know, and I've always got straight A's and stuff like that. And for some reason, when it came to science or anything related to science, if I look at it once, I just won't forget it. That was an advantage and disadvantage at the same time. Especially because I was slightly a hypochondriac. Whenever I would learn stuff about like medical stuff, I would freak out, think I had everything. So that was another thing. But yeah, so whenever I took exams, a lot of times I struggled really bad with taking exams. I would be so anxious. I kept looking at the time, like, you know, whenever someone would get up, I literally would be like freaking out, like, oh my gosh, I should have been done with this exam. You know, they beat me, like it's a competition. I don't know. That's just what goes through my head. And let's say I'm doing an exam and I'm getting all the answers right. If I get stuck on one problem, I would literally freak out the rest of the exam. So if I'm at 3 and it's 50 questions, you got about 45 more to freak out on for me. That's how I was. Even if I knew the rest, my mind would not allow me to focus anymore because I felt like a failure because I got stuck on one question. I was a perfectionist. So anyway, that's how it was for me in high school, but it did not impact me to the point where I didn't want to do things or it didn't stop me from going to anything. It wasn't social at all. I was always at events and stuff. And then I got to college, and it kind of started a little bit more so there. It was small symptoms, but they were definitely there where I would feel very anxious in the classroom. Sometimes I had to leave out, but it wasn't bad. It was just only occasionally when I felt overwhelmed. Then it started with the exams. That was one of the biggest things that kind of was a telltale sign for, you know, me dealing with it. I was having a hard time with taking exams in college also. My professors all knew about it, and they basically let me take exams in the office because I was basically diagnosed with, not even diagnosed, but I was told by the counselors there that I had really bad test anxiety, and that was very common, and a lot of people don't know that that's what they're suffering from, and that's why they be failing classes and not even know, because of knowledge. We're not, everybody is not, you know, they don't know what this is, and they're not they're not aware of what it is and the symptoms. So that's when I first realized that I was something deeper. Then I graduated high school, y'all. I graduated college, and after college, it was very stressful for me. I couldn't find a job. It was just, the world was just spinning because everything seemed like it was not falling into place in which I thought it was supposed to be. So my car got stolen, and the next day, I remember this like it was yesterday. My car got stolen, and the next day, I just remember having so much anxiety. I was so afraid of the world. I was afraid of a lot of things. You know, I was scared. I don't know why, you guys. It just happened like that. And so ever since then, I would have panic attacks. You know, I would have nightmares sometimes. I would wake up. It was hard for me to fall asleep because I thought about death all the time. I was so ashamed. I didn't tell no one but my mom. She used to have, you know, anxiety, and that's another thing when she was younger, when she was around my age, but it went away after a couple of years for her. I believe that's what it was. So, you know, I was so ashamed, and I just started to really feel like I was in a bubble, and I didn't want to tell no one. I felt like people were going to look at me differently, judge me, all these things. And I started my YouTube a few years after that. I felt like this was a comfortable place for me. I already started a YouTube a while ago, and I was in high school, and then I was in college, and I just never, it was always just fun for me, but this is when I actually took it serious. It was somewhere I felt like I could almost be myself and not feel like I had that anxiety or whatever. So I think that for that reason. But anyway, so yeah, I mean, after all of that, it was like whenever I was in social situations and restaurants, anything, if a waitress walked up to me, I would almost feel like I was having a panic attack. Like this lady just walked up to me, and I know where I'm just like so afraid to talk. I kind of became not myself. I kind of became like another person because I was afraid to speak out. I was afraid to just be myself because I felt like everyone was judging me, and I also felt like I was going to pass out whenever someone came close to me. I just felt very anxious. I didn't want to be at restaurants. I didn't like doing the things I liked to do in the past, like going to the movies or doing anything that I like to do. I just didn't want to do because I was so afraid of having a panic attack, because I've had a couple of them since college. After college, you know, I've had a couple, and those are the worst feeling. And I just didn't want to feel that way. So I avoided it and avoided it and avoided it. Until one day I said, you know what, Ashley? You are a human being. And everybody goes through something. I don't know what everyone's situation may be. And that's why I really try not to judge people. But I do know that everybody goes through something. And I know myself. I know I'm going to come out stronger than what I started. And so I said, you know what? This is not easy. You know, and after I began to talk to people and tell them my situation a little bit more. And more people started to open up, like, oh my God, you go through that? I do too. I didn't know that's what was wrong with me. And I began to do, like, you know, look it up and research it. And I realized, you know, when you look at it from a standpoint of my faith, God didn't give us a spirit of fear. So whatever this is, it's clearly a season, and it's clearly to teach me something, and it's possibly just to help someone out there. So I'm hoping that it does when I finally overcome it. One of my friends was telling me, you know, I should go to therapy, and I was so afraid to go to therapy. I was like, oh my gosh, you're gonna make me do all these things that I'm afraid to do. But, you know, I finally, after some time, decided to go because my doctor recommended for me to go back when I first graduated college, when I was first going through the panic attacks and all of that stuff, and I just didn't go. 2 years later, fast forward to today, and I enrolled into therapy a couple months ago. Which was helpful because I'm still going now, and I think that is a good way for me to not only just overcome anxiety, but to kind of place myself and who I am as a woman and what goals I want to achieve. It's, you know, I don't think there's anything wrong with therapy. I think it just allows for you to have someone to talk to unbiased, to kind of help you see where you stand in your life, because they literally go based off of your goals. It's not like they set things for you. You set them. They ask me, what do you want out of this? And you tell them, you know, and it may not be for everybody, and I don't even know if it's 100% for me, but I'm going to try it out. All of this to say, anxiety is hard. You know, if you are suffering from anxiety, or you do suffer from any of the things that I just mentioned, I can make a more detailed video. Right now, this seems very detailed because I know it's long. I'm sorry, y'all. But I just really hope that it helps someone. You can overcome this. You know, this is not the end all be all. Everybody goes through something. You know, I chose to look at the situation as, you know what, this is not easy, but it's probably not for me. It's for someone else. Someone else told me that, and I agree with them. It's probably for me to go through this so that I can help someone who may not know how to get over it or know how to overcome it. But you can. So here's the tips. Number one, my faith. I am a big believer in God. You know, I believe that He will help me get through this. You know, I know He will. And I know He didn't give me the spirit of fear. So I know that I will overcome this through time, you know, through my trials and tribulations. It will be something that I'm able to look back on and say, wow, you know, I overcame that and I'm stronger because of it. Number two, you have to find something that allows you to relax, whatever that may be. You have to find something that allows you to be in the element and be yourself at that moment and become one with who you are as a person and just at peace with the world around you. I don't know what that is. You have to find that out. And that's what you call self-exploration. Finding out the things that help you grow as a human being. And for me, it may be yoga sometimes. And sometimes it's just me editing a video. Sometimes it's me sitting in my room quiet and just watching something ratchet. Whatever it is for you, find it, and you do that, and you allow yourself to have that moment, and don't let nobody take that away from you. Another thing is to become comfortable and self-love in who you are. If you're dealing with this, it's okay. Everybody goes through something. Just recognize that it may not be anxiety, it may be something else, it may be an abusive relationship. Everybody's life is not perfect, even if it looks like it. It may be money problems. It could be, the list goes on and on and on. But you know, your problem is to, not even your problem, but your goal in life is to overcome these obstacles so that you can be better as a human and as a person to help others. You never know, right? What if your child goes through this when they are, you know, around your age after you done overcame this and you're able to help them? Or what if it's just the person next door, you know? You can save a life and don't even know. Um, and another thing that helps me is eating healthy. Eating healthy has changed the way I think. It allowed me to be more relaxed. For some reason, it changed the whole chemistry of my body in a lot of ways. It makes me feel clean. It makes me feel, energized. And it really helps me with just a lot of things. And I think that is what gives me energy to push past a lot of things that maybe I wasn't able to push past because I was eating all this negative fast food and just all this bad stuff. Eating healthy, I'm not 100% perfect, but I try to do as much healthy eating as I can, and that has helped me in a lot of ways. Exercising, y'all, listen. Okay, I'm skinny, right? It's okay though. I exercise. I try to exercise as much as I can. You have to figure out what works for you. I just want to tone and to do a certain little, just keep my cardio a little bit good, and just stuff like that for me is great. And that's what I do, and that's what works for me. And a little bit of yoga and a little bit of dance. You just have to figure out what works for you. But exercise is really important. It's not even only just important for your body, but it's important for your mind. Release those endorphins and get that brain back to a happy place to where all of those things are just making you feel good because you have a place that is a temple and you want to treat it as such. And another thing that I like to do is research. Research about what's going on with you. That way you can figure out what's the problem and find a solution. Maybe it's therapy, maybe it's yoga, maybe it's medication for some, which I really, really, really highly recommend avoiding. Avoid the medication if you can. But if that's something you absolutely have to take, and that's your body, you have to really do your research to see if that's, really what you need, so really make that the last option if possible. I'm not speaking out against medication or anything like that, but I just say that there are ways to try first that are not medication. So that's another thing. And just the last thing that I want to say is enjoy your life. Enjoy this journey and just be appreciative of the fact that you have something that can be in a journey. It could be something that for you to overcome. You can help someone eventually through this. You have to kind of change and reframe your mind, kind of change how you look at things, and one day you will look up and you will overcome it. It's so many more things that I can honestly say in this video, but I really just want this to be authentic, and I'm just speaking from the heart right now. And when I do these type of videos, these chit chats, I just speak from the heart. I don't write anything down. So if there is something that you want me to specifically talk about when it comes to anxiety, let me know in the comment section below. I'll be sure, even if it's one person, I will do a whole video for you just to kind of touch on some deeper details of this situation or about this. But all I do want to say is you can overcome this, and you will. You have to believe that. And if you do, you're already on the right path. You already want to overcome it. So anyway, anxiety is it's not easy. A lot of people think that it's something that you could just change your mind that fast. It doesn't work like that. It takes time. So give yourself that time. And when you get to a point when you realize that it's going to take steps and it's going to take time, and everybody may not understand it, it's okay if everybody don't understand it. It's not meant for everyone to understand. But you overcome it. So reach out to me if you need any more advice or any more questions that you need answered. Let me know in the comment section below. And I'm going to end this video, and I hope you guys are having a joyous day. And I don't know what I'm saying right now, so I'm going to stop. And I love you. I love you all. Thank you. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe and share this video. If you know anybody who's going through this, share it too. And I'll leave links for all types of resources below. Love you guys. Bye.